Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, QRLS faithful, welcome to another session of top tier QRLS Rocket League hosted by none other than Masamoon of the Bleacher Boys, yours truly, and Blubbernut, captain of the K1 Kings. Blubbernut, are you ready? Are you ready for tonight's festivities?
Oh, I'm super excited. It's week five. Teams are really starting to get together. We're finally able to see what these teams are capable of. And we have the Headhunters and the Three Rocketeers facing off tonight for the calculated division. The Three Rocketeers are currently sitting at 4-8, with the Headhunters at 7-5. So a clean sweep for the Three Rocketeers would be absolutely key for the playoffs moving forward.
Key is is right, but I think the Three Rocketeers, after a lukewarm start to the season, followed by a week three roster shakeup by bringing in RL Zombie and Zabri, I think they're ready to make the transition into a playoff contention team. What do you think about their chances here of turning their roster record around?
I think their chances are pretty high. I know the Headhunters had a rough week last week by getting swept. And, with those first couple of weeks, they were doing really strong. It was a good wake up call for them. For such a dominating team like that to be swept was just insane. They're really good games. And the Three Rocketeers, weren't doing too hot, so they decided to switch their roster up. And I think with Zombie and Zavri, it's going to be one heck of a team to play against.
One heck of a team is right, and I think that the Three Rocketeers themselves were, I believe, 2 goals shy of getting swept by the Speed Demons, who saw their first instance of turning their roster around. They were bottom of their respective division before the 2-1 victory last week against the Rocketeers. So I think it's possible that they are building up to perform a same kind of turn of the tide in this week 5 matchup against the Headhunters. We are T minus 1 minute away from the beginning of the matchup, waiting for players to roll in on the field, just getting those boost pads all fueled up. Our lobby is set up, so I want to get your predictions here real quick while we get the last few cars on the field. Who do you think has the edge in tonight's matchup?
I think I want the Three Rocketeers to take this, but I think the Headhunters are going to fire back with a 2-1 victory tonight against the Three Rocketeers.
A 2-1 victory against the Three Rocketeers. I think I'm actually gonna take the opposing the equal and opposite view here. I think I'm gonna say 2-1 Rocketeers. I think they've found their stride here in the past couple weeks. I think they had some growing pains with a completely new roster, but I think they're coming through here in the last few moments leading up to the beginning of our Week 5 matchup. And that brings up another interesting point. This is coming to the end of Week 5, and you know what that means, Blubbernut?
What does that mean, Massimo? Please tell me.
That means it's the end of the deadline, the trade deadline. So this is the last possible opportunity for teams to make adjustments to kind of make that last ditch effort um, to get their record going in the right direction. Do you foresee any? Give me your hot take on on what the end of this week uh, could provide in terms of uh, potential trades, if any.
Now, in my opinion, I'm not really going to. I don't think I'm going to see any trades among the teams. I think they're fairly balanced because you have those couple of teams that have those couple of higher MMR players with some of the lower ones, my team included. So for me to trade, somebody like Alex, it would really change up the dynamic of the team. And I can't even trade my lowest player because there's no one else to fill the spot. I think most of the teams that have kind of figured out they needed a change have already kind of changed. I mean, I don't think there were even any trades going on. Most of it was drops and then picking up from the free agency. So
Right.
if anything, I would see maybe one or two drops and maybe a pickup from the free agency, but no trades, in my opinion. What do you think?
I actually think that you might be on the ball here. I also don't think pending maybe a sweep, another sweep tonight, Three Rocketeers might make an additional change. Slurpee, ex uh, ex QRLS champion, uh, might want to, coming in with a 4-11 record. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't take the opportunity to throw another shake-up in the league. I think that's, if I were in his position, I would use every opportunity to bolster my to bolster um, my unit's potential, so to speak. But no,
But
I think
also keep in mind that our free agency has dwindled a little bit in the past for bits of inactivity, so that does kind of change a little bit of the dynamic of who teams can also pick up.
very true, very true. We have had some new blood join the QRLS lately. I don't have their names right in front of me, but I've been seeing, my phone light up with, X person has joined in. Make sure they buy pizza for the whole squad. So the league is definitely growing, definitely not stagnating. We've got an expansion in the works, two new teams. Make sure that you're using that opportunity to uh, jump in our Discord, put in a new player application, put in a captain application. Always looking for fresh meat for the for the captain's Discord grinder. Uh, Make sure that you are putting in every effort to expand the league and expand your participation in it.
So
Uh,
currently looking at what we have, there are 12 free agents with 7 new declares for the season 5 draft. As of right now, we almost effectively have doubled the free agency pool for season 5. And looking at some of these MMRs, I mean, it ranges everywhere from 800 all the way up to 1500. A very scary number for me because that is something I will never touch. But what do you kind of see as new teams come in for the season 5? I mean, what do you kind of expect beginning of to kind of be like as far as the new free agents coming in and kind of the involvement of the current players of the community?
the admins have a lot of projects in the works coming up. More to follow on that. Not trying to reveal too much here, but there's certainly some exciting developments in the future.
No tips,
It
slips.
No, no, nope, no slips. I'm not Tom Holland. I'm not gonna drop the Avengers 6 ending here or anything like that.
No
So,
tips.
um, but I think this season has been indicative of the importance of teamwork and the importance of meshing well. I think that MMR and having your all-star player is one thing, but if you look at the standings right now, the two of the ex QRLS champions, Serpy Snail and Billy Bob, they're kind of riding the mid to low tiers of the rankings right now, and you wouldn't have thought that. They were favorites for being this season's QRLS finalists. So I think I think with the expansion of the league into two additional teams totaling for six or excuse me 10 teams, 5 per division. I think that's just gonna uh, throw a wrench into this machine that nobody was really expecting. It's extremely exciting. I really can't wait to see what kind of matchups we have in store. And that's kind of what I
Oh,
was trying to get
yeah.
at with having those captains forms available, because we need people to volunteer to lead. I think the opportunity to have your own squad and participate in the league as a captain is an honor and a privilege. So
And I
um,
will say from experience, it is fun. It is awesome because you get to pull sneaky things like sneaky trades. Well, not behind the scenes because everybody knows, but you can do some plotting behind the scenes. The draft's coming up. Maybe you do a little talking to some of the other captains. It's really fun. I always enjoyed kind of coaching a team and moving players around as I have to. But you had mentioned the ex champions, Billy Bob and Slurpy Snail, and I couldn't help but think is we're week 5 into this season, and last season those two were the duo. Like when someone said like the two top players, like the duo, the ones with the most chemistry, that was Slurpy Snail and Billy Bob. So I wanted to ask you, who do you think kind of fills those shoes this season so far?
Fills the shoes of Billy Bob and Slurpees now.
Indeed, who do you think is the duo of season 4?
Oh wow, I think this season is almost defined by amazing duos. I think that you have to you kind of have to give it to Heartless and Throttle Dog right now. I think that
Oh
they
yeah.
are coming out of the woodwork. They started out kind of slow. They were riding the mid tier, echelon of the stat standings, and the record standings. But Throttle Dog specifically, everybody was expecting Heartless to come out there and just dominate, but Throttle Dog has just stepped up to the point where he's even. I think Little Buck had mentioned this about a week ago. He's even in MVP discussions now. So I think those guys are arguably the new hot duo of season 4.
Oh yeah, Throttle Dog is currently third right now in the league for the most goals. Above him is only Will Six and Billy Bob, and Will Six and Baby Dump's another really tough duo to go against. They scare me. A lot of players scare me in this league, to be honest. Even you and Alec Big are honestly a force to be reckoned with. So take that compliment, please, because with the competition in this league, every team holds their own in some way, shape, or form. And I think you two, as well as Pinky, but mainly you two together, I've seen play a lot, and you're just awesome on the field.
Oh man, I'll certainly never, I'll certainly never deny a compliment. Uh,
Ooh.
I think that it's another instance uh, of team chemistry becoming the prevailing factor here in what teams should be focusing on. I think that having a high MMR, or having a single high game sense and high game skill character on your squad is all well and good. Um, but as we've seen from Toaster and Squiddy, from Alec, or excuse me, um, who are we just talking about? Heartless and Throttle Dog, from Will and Baby Dumps. I think those guys are proving that if they can't do it alone. You know. Uh,
Yeah, even if Alex is another big one. Alex, Billy Bob, Slurpee. Their coverage is not exponentially, but considerably greater than, let's say, like mine or yours, or even sometimes Baby Dumps. And just because that they can cover much more of the field doesn't mean that they can always be there. So I kind of agree with that. You can't just have that one person, kind of do it all, and that's where the chemistry comes in play. Which, in my opinion, even if let's say like with the Three Rocketeers, they just got a new roster, and I think a big thing for them is just to play, play, play. Especially like he's never really played with his two new players before, Slurpee. So to play that much to develop that chemistry is really important. And even for teams right now that have had their teams since week 1, I mean, the more they play, the better off they're going to be.
yeah, no, definitely. There's something to be said about um, team history and the the benefit of having some games under your belt, right? Alec and I are a perfect example of that, right? We've been together since middle of last season, and going strong or whatever. But there's been so many shakeups, especially week 3 of the season, that it's very fascinating to see how teams have um, come into their own. Teams that you never would have imagined playing well together. I think K1's been tossed around more than like an ugly puppy at a shelter. Like he's found a home in the Speed Demons, and you never would have thought that he'd end up there and uh, that he'd flourish. But he's taken that team, him and our King, and they're starting to make a run. You know, they're
Hey, to
starting
be
to.
fair, he did it to me first. Okay, way back when he traded me to the Headhunters at the time, and I I just went from there to a different team. Then I went back on the Kings. I mean, I've also been tossed around quite a bit. So K1 had it coming. All right, I'm not saying I did it on purpose, but I'm really glad he was able to find a team with Speed Demons because he has really improved those guys a lot since week one.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think he should be commended for his efforts, not just in the league, but as an admin. Definitely one of the more um, more emphatic casters that we have here. Certainly somebody that I look up to um, in my administrative roles here in the league. But I want to shift gears here a little bit into the MVP conversation because, we've seen the player stats summaries kind of, fluctuate moderately as the season goes by. We're halfway through the season right now. Who right now would you say, give me a hot take. Who would you say is in contention for the MVP of season four?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Billy Bob. I think he's gonna come back and grab it again. I mean, guys at the top of the stats now. He was at the top of the stats pretty much all of last season. I mean, he's super consistent, a really good player, and even with his new roster, he has Eagle to help him out, which their match this week was insane, and that team is also very scary. So for me, that's going to be Billy Bob. Do you also agree, or do you have someone else in mind?
Billy Bob is a great choice. I think uh, it's really hard to argue to argue with that, considering his consistency, right? From from the get go. Week one he was number one. Week two he was number three. Week three he was number four. Week four he was number three. So he's consistently in those top three, top five standings, whereas other players kind of fluctuate in and out. Um, but like I've said recently, we had a big shakeup following week three, and in week four and week five, Alex RL has topped the charts 2 weeks in a row of our player stats, right? With 6 goals in week four and 5 goals in week five. Obviously, that is pending the results of this match. Slurpy Snail certainly has the opportunity to overcome that, as well as Toaster. He's had a crazy a crazy week previously. I think it was what was it? I think it was week one actually. He was number three in the standings with 5 goals, so he's certainly capable of turning that tide. But right now, you kind of can't deny his potential. Obviously, he is the highest MMR, or technically second highest MMR player in the league, and he has, he's risen above his record last season. I don't think his team even made it to playoffs last season, but he's trying to make it looks like he's trying to make a championship run with the Kings right now.
And that is indeed our goal. I will not hide it. The Kings want another crown, a bigger crown, to put on top of our heads. But through that, we got to face some scary teams along the way. With the MMR cap, it's pretty much made it so that teams are quote unquote balanced, and they are, I think, in my opinion. And honestly, I kind of agree too with Alex being a top contender because I mean, in only the 6 games he's played, he's already has 11 goals, which is only half of Billy Bob. So I mean, he has some catching up to do, but it's not impossible for him to rise to the top by the time week 10 comes around.
No, no, certainly not. And as we wind down here into the last 3 minutes before the game, I want to quickly thank everybody who's watching tonight. We are uh, rounding the corner on season 4 We've sustained a respectable 15 to 20 viewers per night. We've got, as I previously mentioned, we've got big plans in the work for the league expansion and special events, more to follow. And I just want to emphasize to everybody to follow us on YouTube, on the Twitch, on Facebook. When the official QRLS posts the matchups, like it, heart it, you know, weird heart emoji it, whatever it is you got to do. Share it to your Facebook wall. I always do. Um, help us grow, help the league expand. Like it'll only help us. Um, it only facilitate us when we're trying to set up special events and crazier stuff to do later.
And
Later
don't
in the
forget about
season.
the YouTube. We've been posting videos on there. I don't have the exact name of the YouTube on me. I'm sure you do, but it has the entirety of the games, even the greatest commentary by all of the players and admins that have come for all the matches to have their just splendid commentary. So you can watch it all on YouTube.
Yeah, so the official name of the YouTube is just the Quicksilver Rocket League series. And you guys obviously, we post the games every within 24 hours after their completion. I do recommend. I can't recommend enough that everybody go back and watch their games. It's so important. And with that in mind, and thank you for reminding me. But players, if you're listening to me, save your replays. Save your replays of your matchups.
Very key.
The YouTube videos are great for kind of like a backup, but you can't shift from player perspective to player perspective. You can't do that critical analysis of, oh, what was this player seeing? What were they thinking? Like you can in a normal Rocket League replay. So following your games, doesn't matter if you got swept. Doesn't matter if you did the sweeping. Save your replays so you can go back and critically assess how you did things correctly, how you did things incorrectly, so you can improve. Because that's what we're all about here, is improving and having fun.
Exactly, and that was a very great tip. I have watched probably 6 or 7 videos at this point of just series from this season, even games that I don't even play in, just because I think they're that fun to watch. And sometimes I kind of like to see, how other teams play. So even if it's just not for your replays, you can always get a little sneak peek at maybe who you're playing next week.
Absolutely. And as we transition here to our official matchup, players are in and we're ready to go. Give me a hot take. Who's going to score the first goal here? Blubber?
Squiddy D, he's coming back with a vengeance. He did not like the broom being swept on him last week. I think he's going to take that vengeance and put it right into the Three Rocketeers goal within, I'm going to say 234. That's what's going to happen.
234. Interesting. I can't argue against Squiddy D being the first to score too much. I'm gonna do one better. I'm gonna say Toaster in 4:30. 4 minutes 30 seconds. I think Toaster's gonna come out there, guns blazing, and light this field on fire. As we get Slurpee and Toaster on the kickoff, Avoidable Clown on the kickoff. Toaster is going to take it up the wall. RL Zombie with the 50 to send it across the field to Avoidable Clown. Squiddy missing the 50 in the midfield. Toaster challenging immediately.
Little confusion in the midfield as Zabri gets a pass out to Snail. Shot on net, unfortunately able to go in. Toaster with a great clear downfield, hoping to keep possession of this. Does a 50 off a Slurpee Snail. An Avoidable Clown has a shot, but it is disrupted.
The teams assessing each other, biding their time, assessing the offensive potential of each other before striking. You can see the hesitation in the midfield. Nothing risky being taken. Zavri, as he clears the ball, clears a shot to the left field. Slurpee Snail takes it up the wall, and a 50, a really favorable 50 for the Headhunters, goes to Squiddy D as he misses the semi-open net. Zavri centers to the midfield. Slurpee, a long clear to the Headhunter side. Toaster clearing out. Squiddy D with a critical save and pass to Toaster, who has an open net. What a save by RL Zombie.
You know, I like to always say in game one, it's all about feeling each other out. And I think both teams are still kind of feeling each other out. As Avoidable Clown says, nah, I'm not feeling it out. I'm putting this in with a goal for the Headhunters.
Avoidable Clown is by himself on the blue side of the field, and an unfortunate whiff by Zavri just opens the net for Avoidable Clown, who is not at all intimidated by all the blue on his side to put it in the top right corner of the Headhunters net.
And Squiddy D able to just slightly touch it in there. Unfortunately, the Three Rocketeers were able to get back in time with another goal for the Headhunters.
And Squiddy D scoring one of the craziest goals I've seen last week with an incredible doink within 10 seconds of the beginning of his match, taking the Headhunters to a 2-0 lead. I don't think either of us was actually. I think you called a Squiddy D goal at about 3:30. Was that correct?
No, unfortunately, I said 2:34, so we're off by about a minute.
Well, I said Toaster at 4:30, so neither of us is apparently correct. Here, the Three Rocketeers try to turn their luck around. Long boom to the Three Rocketeers side. Slurpy Snail challenging in the left field. Confusion avails as RL Zombie centers it. Not too much action. Toaster trying to get control of the ball. Neither team willing to really challenge. Slow floater over Zavri as RL Zombie tries to set up this team to try to take the 3-0 victory, and an amazing 50 by Slurpy Snail. Unfortunately, nobody there to pick up the challenge in the mid.
A great pass by Squiddy. Unfortunately, RL Zombie able to get the ball here. Still able to keep possession on the Three Rocketeer side. Slurpy Snail's going to come up for a pass to himself. Unfortunately, unable to get it.
Not finding a man in the midfield. It seems like miscommunication abounds here in the 2-minute mark approaches, and nobody's there. Nobody's there to cover the Three Rocketeers net as Toaster puts them up 3-0. You gotta wonder what if the Three Rocketeers needs to adjust their comm settings. They seem to be on top of one another, Blubber.
Yeah, they're either on top or kind of all over the place. I mean, you know, this is really the great thing about game ones is, you know, sometimes you don't have the best one, but hey, there's still a chance for a reverse sweep.
I think reverse sweeps are a little early. Nobody has quite won the game yet, as Zavri has a one-on-one in the Three Rocketeers net and puts it, into the Headhunters net, and capitalizes from that beautiful pass from Slurpy into the midfield. Puts it directly in on the top of the net, almost bar down.
You see, it was the reverse psychology there. See, I knew if I said that the Three Rocketeers would get a goal, and they did not disappoint.
They'll take any advantage they can get at this point as we head into the final 2 minutes of the game. RL Zombie with a beautiful save. Avoidable Clown getting tossed in the top right corner of the Three Rocketeers side. Zavri clearing out to Slurpy Snail, who tries to control the ball, slowing it down as he moves it to the right corner. Probably looking in the midfield, but he has no boost. One has to wonder what he's going to go for.
He's going to go for a sweet pass, but unfortunately no one able there to connect. Squiddy D trying to carry this downfield. Toaster passing it to the side. Clown unable to get there. Shoots it downfield on the Headhunter's side. Can the Three Rocketeers get it in? Unfortunately unable to connect there.
And Squiddy with a clutch 50 against Zavri, but an open net and an unfortunate touch. Not the easiest, but Toaster capitalizes on the confusion that Avoidable Clown caused by that, clearly a calculated miss off the top crossbar, and puts it into the top left of the Rocketeers net for a 4-1 victory. It's looking all but done, Blubbernut.
You know, it really is. I mean, anything could happen in this 1 minute, but I always say sometimes the best shots are the worst passes, and the best passes are the worst shot. And I probably said that backwards, but you knew what I meant.
You know, it's not what you say, it's what you mean. That's what I tell my girlfriend every single day. And as RL Zombie takes advantage of, again, just the calculated fake from Zavri there, 100%, 50 grand IQ from Zavri there to throw confusion into the Headhunters defensive line as Toaster It seems to miss the possession there, and Zabri takes full advantage by putting just a heater into the top right corner of the Headhunters net. What do you think was going through the defense's mind here?
I'm not really sure, but I'll tell you one thing: patience wins games, my friend. And that was a very good patient play by Zombie.
Certainly, less than a minute ago, we were saying this was a done deal for the Three Rocketeers, and they have turned it around here. Patience abounds. Here is another shot from Slurpee, just a line drive, just blazing into the left. Headhunters carefully and craftfully blocking it away as Toaster goes up for a highlight reel play. Drops it down back to Squiddy off the corner, looks back for somebody to help him. Passes to the midfield into avoidable clown, gets 50 from the save. Zabri saves it.
Close call on the Three Rocketeers, but able to take it downfield here. Slurpee Snail dangerous on the wall. Gets a good 50 out mid. Can they connect? Oh, so close there. Unfortunately, heads downfield.
And a beautiful 50 for Toaster as he controls into the field. An unfortunate touch slows the momentum down as Zavri clears it to corner. Squiddy D with a beautiful pass, but there's nobody there to collect. Not necessary as the Headhunters take the 4-3 dub over the Three Rocketeers.
You know, at the beginning there, we really saw the Three Rocketeers kind of out of place and, seemed to kind of struggle on their transitions a little bit onto defense, but they really picked it up at the end there. Was able to kind of keep the Headhunters at bay. I believe it went from a 4-1 game to a 4-3 game within just those couple minutes. So I think the Headhunters better keep their eyes peeled for these next couple of games because it seems like the Three Rocketeers are ready to bounce back.
Yeah, definitely what looked to be a done deal for the Three Rocketeers in favor of the Headhunters. They rapidly turned around. They got their mojo flowing, and Zavri just stepped up with 6 shots, dropping 500 points on the board. What do you think they can do, or they should do, if anything, to reverse their fortunes?
I think what they started doing at the end there really helped. Just trying to be a little faster to some of those passes and everything like that. I mean, there were 2 saviors on the Headhunter side. I believe it was Toaster and Squiddy. So I mean, they're really putting the pressure on. So they just got to keep that pressure up.
As we flow here into the field, players getting lined up for game 2 here. What are your predictions for game 2 there, Blubbernut?
You know, I'm thinking the Three Rocketeers are going to bounce back on this one, and I think Game 3 is where it's going to come down to.
I have to agree with you. I think Zavri has really stepped up, and he's trying to make a new power duo with Slurpee Snail. I think that that the Rocketeers are on the verge, on the cusp, if you will, of taking the top of this league roster by record board by storm. Here's Squiddy tries to clear an awkward ball off the side of the net. Slurpee's now going for the 50. Whiffs the 50 as RL Zombie pushes it further into his own net. And an unfortunate touch. Squiddy tries to take advantage, passes into the midfield. Toaster going back for recovery. Sends it up the right wall. Slurpee Snail watching for the defensive mid shot. A boomer off the top of the left wall into the Rocketeers net. Slurpee caught completely unawares.
You know, I thought Toaster was going to go for the highlight clips here going off on the ceiling, but a nice calculated shot down there. Nobody back on defense to get there. You know, I think Hunter's lead 1-0.
You know, I think that's exactly what Slurpee was expecting. I think he was expecting a slow air dribble play that he could calculate a challenge to, but Toaster said, no, I know that's what you're expecting, and I'm going to pull the 1000 IQ play and just zip it right into the midfield. As he tries again, gets it past the first Three Rocketeers defenders. Slurpee Snail says, not this time. Get this away from my net. Squiddy past the Toaster into the midfield. Zavri, critical save from the pass left to Slurpee Snail. Back and forth here in the midfield. Slurpee, another clear into the left. You gotta wonder, what is it gonna take to get this ball into the Headhunter's net? Slurpee leaves the ball. Interesting. Must be extremely low on boost. It's RL Zombie. Tries to control. Avoidable clown. An awkward ball again in the corner. Toaster clears straight to it. Waiting Slurpee Snail. He's going for the highlight reel play. And unfortunately, gets past him as RL Zombie tries to take charge of the ball.
The Three Rocketeers keeping the pressure up here as Toaster clears it downfield. Only Slurpee Snail back. Gets the full boost, though. Passes it right to Clown. Dangerous shot here, and Zabri there for the save.
And Zabri taking control of the Three Rocketeers squad, not letting that deficit get even deeper as he takes full initiative with the amazing awkward angle off the lob into the center. And you see even RL Zombie went there for the backup redirect as they tie it up here with less than 3 minutes remaining. It seems like the Three Rocketeers have started to find their way here in this matchup.
You know, they've still been kind of caught off guard, being shifted onto offense here, but I think that if they, keep playing like they have been, and I think we could see a win from the Three Rocketeers.
As we see a slow ball from Zabri, nobody there to pick it up, though. Slurpee Snail watching for another potential Toaster shot off the wall. You never know what that man's about to do. As the Avoidable Clown speeds dribble into the midfield, nobody there to take advantage, to capitalize on the beautiful pass. Squiddy D chasing the ball down into his own side of the net. Toaster with a beautiful challenge here on the left side. RL Zombie trying to set up Squiddy or perhaps Zabri for an amazing shot, and it's almost on the net. And what a save by Avoidable Clown.
Even though that was saved, Zabri really standing his ground here, putting a lot of shots on net, really have the Headhunters kind of concerned when he has the ball.
You have to admire the composure from the Rocketeers to not let that first victory get to them. They seem to recognize that they had the momentum going into this game, and they are certainly showing their composure. Here is Avoidable Clown, goes for the mid pass, a beautiful pass to Squiddy, connects, but Slurpee Snail is there to collect, and an amazing fake. Avoidable Clown says, "Nah, I got that though." Bumps Zavri in the midfield. Slurpee Snail with an awkward high-rise ball. Zavri gives the Three Rocketeers some breathing room.
And suddenly, the Three Rocketeers are been on defense for about the last minute or so. A really great change from the first couple minutes of the game. They're going to really have to get some good clears here if they want to have a chance to score again.
Finally, the Headhunters starting to put on some pressure that they're known for. The Rocketeers are keeping their composure, however. They're not breaking their rotations. They're not piling on top of one another. They're keeping their distance. Almost Season 3 Hammerhead level style rotations. As a beautiful pass from Slurpee in the midfield falls short. You have triple coverage on the side of the Headhunters. Avoidable Clown with a beautiful pass to Squiddy, who was unable to get quite the angle on it. Slurpee with a high rise. Zabri. RL Zombie following up off the back wall of the Headhunters and the open net. Slurpee will not allow that to go unchallenged. Rocketeers have stepped up to the plate. You see all three Headhunters trying to challenge the ball, but Avoidable Clown makes them look silly.
Beautiful bicycle pass from Rocket League Zombie. Three Rocketeers lead 2-1 with 30 seconds remaining.
And Toaster trying to turn the tide here as a long ball from Slurpee crushes those hopes as they take a two-goal lead on the Headhunters.
That's just the Three Rocketeers coming back and saying, hey, we're taking this to game 3. But, anything can happen in 20 seconds. The Headhunters can still take control here.
Anything can happen indeed, but Avoidable Clown just saved the Headhunters from a 3-goal deficit. Here is Zabri. You see them taking such wide stances. They hit the ball and they rotate out. They hit the ball and they rotate out. They're taking safe measures. But RL Zombie says, well, if you're going to leave the net open for me, if you're not going to, what a beautiful bump. If you're not going to challenge or cover your goal, I'm just going to put it in for a 3-goal lead.
Yeah, RL Zombie really seals the deal here for game 2. As the clock comes down, we have the Three Rocketeers beating the Headhunters in game 2. I believe it's 4-1.
Yep, that was certainly a 4-1 victory as we have a tied series now. Some some crazy action here in the QRLS. I think we both called this one, right? We called the Three Rocketeers victory in Game 2, going into Game 3. Um, Slurpy Snail, as we expected, coming out. Zavri playing a pivotal mid-man role, and Arl's all three players of the Rocketeers putting up crazy stats. What do you see as the Headhunters League challenge going into Game 3 there, Blubber?
I think the challenge for them is, they're feeling the pressure. It's game three. It's anybody's game at this point to win the series. So I think for them, it's trying not to force the ball in. Being smart with their touches and having that little bit of patience. Kind of taking it back to the game one tactics that they had. I think would really help them out for game three here.
Certainly, certainly. So here as we move into the main match, what is your prediction? You've seen stellar performances from the Headhunters and from the Three Rocketeers. You've seen pretty decisive victories on the case of the Rocketeers. Not so decisive in the case of the Headhunters. But what is your prediction here for our final game of the night?
I'm sticking with what I had before. I'm saying Three Rocketeers take this one for a 2-game win on the series. 2-1 game match series. Blah, I can't speak. You know what I meant.
Of course, as always, we do play 3 games here in the QRLS. We are 1-1 right now, but even if this was a 2-0 game, all nights will be played to 3 games per match. But I kind of have to agree with you. And as soon as I say that I agree that Three Rocketeers are winning, Avoidable Clown puts a banger into the bottom left off a beautiful pass from Toaster that came off the back wall so hard that the Three Rocketeers had no chance of challenging it.
I think like the first 30 seconds after any kickoff is kind of the toughest, especially positioning. And unfortunately, the Three Rocketeers were just unable to find those positions at the time.
Well, we certainly, we did our verification of the caster curse, as both casters call for the Three Rocketeers, and we get an immediate goal from the Headhunters. As the Avoidable Clown sends it into the Rocketeers' side. Toaster, challenging RL Zombie, clears, giving some breathing room to the Three Rocketeers. He's looking for a mid-pass. Slurpy Snail challenges immediately. A calculated fake as Toaster gets a beautiful save. And another clear from the side by Toaster. He's trying to take control of this matchup. A booming ball into the Rocketeers' net. Zavri says, no, not again. We're not doing that a second time.
Luckily, Zombie, with a great save there, able to take it to the side. Unfortunately, able to fall, but Slurpy Snail's going to hit it off the wall right to Toaster. Toaster's going to take a shot on net just too high. Zombie with a great clear to the side here, and Squiddy's going to try and take control, but lose the 50.
And I really like what the Headhunters are doing here. They're not going for flashy plays. I think that may have been their shortcoming previously. They were looking for more highlight reel plays, but right now they're peppering their net. They're challenging slowly but methodically. And I think it's throwing the Rocketeers for a loop. You see them bunching up in their net. But calculated touches from Squiddy into the net. Slowing down, not bunching up. A long pass into the midfield. Toaster challenging Zavri. In the midfield, RL Zombie looking for some kind of way to get the ball away from their net.
Zombie with a great clear there. Zombie couldn't get to the ball, but Slurpy takes a shot on net. 2 shots on net, unable to get him in.
And a battle in the midfield. Slurpy, Toaster, back and forth. As another shot on net gets deflected by Zavri. This man is a saving machine here. As another shot gets sent off the back wall. Squiddy trying to control, running out of boost, unfortunately.
Those are the potential pass to the midfield here. As Squiddy turns around, playing it safe. Zombie clears it into the net almost. Avoidable Clown with a great clear to the side here.
And you see the tension as both teams just don't want to, one team drop to a 2-goal deficit and the other team lose their lead. It's just you can cut the tension with a butter knife. It's kind of crazy right now. As Slurpy takes control of the ball, flicks it beautifully into the midfield. Slavry trying to get the center versus team as Slurpy Snail challenges. More booming balls. Nobody seeming to want to control it. Slurpy tries to push it into the net, and a narrow miss by RL Zombie. You had to believe that that was going to be challenged by a avoidable clown, but he whiffed it, and I don't think the RL Zombie probably could predict that whiff as Slurpy Snail sends it back to the midfield. Squiddy lobs it towards the net, but nobody's there to capitalize, and confusion in the Rocketeers' defensive end. But again, no headhunter there, and a beautiful demo by Squiddy clears up the defense, and our headhunter's going to be able to capitalize. Open net as avoidable clown sets it up for Squiddy to drop the second goal of the match with 1:10 remaining. Do you think that there's any chance for the Rocketeers?
I think there is. They're in a little bit of a panic mode, it looks like. They just kind of got to cool the composure a little bit. And I think they'll have a chance.
Cool the composure is right, is Zavri, who we've seen just play so collected and calm, seems to be flailing a little bit here. I think he might be trying to take control of the situation as he sends a booming clear to the Headhunter's side. RL Zombie sends it perfectly in the middle, but a missed shot from Zavri as Slurpy 50s it, flying slowly but dangerously to the Headhunter's net. Toaster clears it right to RL Zombie as he drops it again, seeing pop after pop. Perfectly challenged by Squiddy, however. He's alone with Slurpy Snail. He slow plays it. A beautiful flick over Slurpy Snail as Zombie clears again. And what a touch by Slurpy. Toaster's there to collect, however, as RL Zombie challenges midfield. You just see a battle of wits here with time winding down. The Rocketeers facing a 2-1 loss here. What can they do to curtail this offensive storm by the Headhunters?
I mean, keep trying to put shots on net if they can, but it's just they've been putting in shot after shot and just weren't able to get them in. Headhunters take this series 2-1 against the Three Rocketeers. Unfortunately, my prediction was wrong here, and it looks like your prediction came out on top. So congratulations.
Well, I'm certainly not going to take too much credit for a matchup that was this close. One of the most even matchups we've seen in this season so far. This very easily could have gone either way. The Three Rocketeers looked extremely dangerous, especially in game 2. They seem to have turned the tide in game 1. I honestly wanted to agree with you in our game 3 predictions, but something in me said Toaster was going to turn her around, and with a savior and 3 shots, he pulled it out. But as we wind down here tonight, let's shift over to our schedule, ladies and gentlemen. Here as we have concluded our final matchup. This is our final, right? Our final matchup
Yes.
for week 5. Headhunters taking a 2-1 over Three Rocketeers. Next week we've got Bleacher Boys versus Clarity, Kings versus Headhunters, Speed Demons versus Gold Diggers, Hammerheads versus Three Rocketeers. Let me know, Blubber, what matchup next week are you looking forward to most?
Honestly, and I hate to say it, mine, because I've been
Gasp.
wanting to face the Headhunters so bad for so long, especially with the new team. And then, right after that, we have Clarity the following week. So I'm really excited for these next couple of weeks. I really like the Headhunters matchup, but I also really like the Speed Demons versus the Gold Diggers. I feel like the Speed Demons are kind of underrated as they had kind of a rough couple of games in the season. But they've been starting to really build their team together. So I'm really curious to see how that matchup goes. What are your top matches for the next week?
I was honestly going to say your match as well, but I'm realizing now that we being the Bleacher Boys, haven't actually played Clarity this season yet, this official season. So I have to say, I mean, this is going to sound biased, but I have to say that's going to be the match to watch for next week. You know, I don't think that there's any real losers here. I think that everybody next week is probably going to be one of our most lit weeks of the season so far. So stay tuned. Tell your friends. Tell your kids. Tell your wife. Tell everybody because we're playing some Rocket League up in here. Share the Facebook posts, share the YouTube, and stay posted.
Do you
One
want to tell them about the weekly review on the weekends?
Oh, certainly. So this, as always, on Sunday we'll be hosting our weekend review. So make sure that everybody tunes in for that. Just like the matches that'll be posted on the YouTube, we'll go over news for the week, happenings in the QRLS, results from the week, a breakdown, an analytical breakdown from the top QRLS minds. I have no idea who's actually hosting it this week, but uh, but I'm sure it'll be a top QRLS mind. So stay tuned for that. And as we wind down here tonight, Blubber, do you have any last minute words for our faithful masses?
As always, just want to say, a pleasure being in the booth, especially with you, Massamoon. It was a great time tonight, and I just want to give a shout out to all the fans out there that are watching us, new and old. The consistent and the ones that just showed up today. Thanks for all your support. Really means a lot to us. And this wouldn't be anything without you guys. So shout out to you guys.
Can't say it enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. This really would not be possible with you guys' support and viewership and active participation in the league. I cannot be grateful enough. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and wind up our stream here tonight. Apologies if it was a little rough. This was obviously my first time doing the stream on my own. Thank you so much to Blubbernut for making sure I didn't stumble and screw my way up through this stream. And obviously, thanks to all of yours for your patience and understanding. But as always, keep it quick.